So, how do you teach in your classes? What kind of a setup do you have? Do you generally have a traditional class where the teacher is teaching and the children are learning and the teacher goes from desk to desk and explain? Or do you do something differently? I'm talking about the physical setting in the class, the way the children are sitting, the way the children are working. And I want to share with you something which I discovered in my own teaching and it worked very well for me. And then I also shared it with teachers all over India, and I found that those teachers also used it. Whoever used it found it tremendously useful. And this was the use of multiple settings in the class. Usually, we know only one type of setting. I teach, the children learn. But suppose we break it down. Suppose we try something different, which is sometimes I teach and the children learn. Sometimes they learn from each other in a group setting. We have 4 to 6 students per group and a task is assigned to everybody, which could be an exercise, which could be an activity, which could be something that they have to read and understand themselves, and they do it themselves and the teacher moves from group to group. There could be a third setting, which I call as buddy learning, where every child in the class has a buddy assigned. So there's a buddy student, there's a buddy teacher. And they help each other out during the course of the lesson or post lesson when they have to work in questions. Now, these 3 settings are settings. First, teacher is teaching. Second, students are in their small groups. Third, they are sitting with their buddies. These are 3 settings, and then there's one final setting where everybody works individually. There is no help at all, and it could be for a certain amount of time, it could be for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, but students work alone. I found that if you take these 4 settings and if you rotate them through a lesson, it helps the students in many ways. Let me take one at a time. In a group setting, students are learning from each other. Students have a very safe zone to ask questions to each other. Students are learning how to live and work with each other. They are learning a very important skill called collaborative learning. So you have integrated mathematics with collaborative learning. The teacher is a little relaxed. The teacher, instead of being completely involved with teaching, is more of an observer. She or he can go around the class and observe how everybody is working. This is group setting. Buddy setting is excellent for children who are not very good in mathematics, because these children are very scared of asking questions in the class. Plus, sometimes in a group setup also, they might feel a little daunted. They might feel a little bullied. So if they have a buddy, someone that they are very comfortable with, they feel very happy. I had a student when I was teaching who was so happy with his buddy that at one point in time, he requested me, "Ma'am, are you okay if I only study from Arnav? Because I think I understand better from him." And I said, "That's okay. For me, it's important thing is you should learn. It doesn't matter who you learn from." And that student for the rest of the year studied from Arnav, and believe me, did better than when I was teaching him. This is the power of buddy learning. Teacher teaching is a very common occurrence. We need it. Teacher needs to take charge of the whole class sometimes, and that is the time when a lot of dialogue, question and answers happens. But the fourth one, children nowadays, they seek help so fast. They don't have that stamina that let me just sit down with a maths question and let me understand, spend some time to understand how do I do it, because children are so much in a hurry to get quick solutions. So there needs to be some time in every chapter. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 2 minutes when you tell the whole class, okay, here is one question and you're on your own for this. For the next 3 minutes, nobody talks to anybody, nobody asks me anything, and this is something completely on you. It shouldn't be for very long because then they will get restless, but for some time it should be there. And now if children will definitely ask you, why should we do it this way? And then you can give them this answer. Anything that we learn needs to be integrated with some life skills. So when we are working on your own, we are learning how to be self-sufficient. When we are working with others in a group, we are learning how to be collaborative and cooperative. When we are working with a buddy, we are learning how to be sensitive. And when the teacher has taken over the whole class and is teaching, we are learning how to be attentive and respectful in a huge group situation. Believe me, from my and the experience of so many other teachers, if you keep switching around these 4 strategies as many times as you want to, as many times as you think is appropriate for your class, in a week or in a month or per chapter, your lessons will have a very, very different flavor to them. How would it be different is something nobody can really guess, nobody can predict. That will only happen when you try it out. And I would really request you, if you could try it out and then tell us what you found. Do try it at least thrice before you decide that this is not going to work and give up. Just take it as a tester, as if you're going for cooking and you have a new recipe and you're going to give it a try and see what kind of a dish comes out. Happy teaching.